Glasgow Day 2. On this day we took the hop on hop off bus tour around the city. Unfortunately all the audio for the tour is on headphones, so it doesn't get picked up on the camera, of course. So I'm going to have to try and remember where we are and what we're seeing and give you a little voiceover for each place. So enjoy. So here we are on top of the double-decker tour bus, sitting in George Square, where you can see Glasgow City Chambers, the Gallery of Modern Art, and also the statue of the Duke of Wellington. So the tour we're on takes in 21 separate places around the city, starting in George Square here. As you can see, the architecture around here is quite old, but mixed in with some new. A lot of people, the council chambers and city chambers are here, so a lot of business going on. I think from here we head west towards the cathedral that we saw yesterday. So it looks like I didn't take video of the cathedral or around the toll spire because we did that yesterday. So here we are at the Glasgow Green, which is down in southwestern Glasgow along the River Clyde. It is the oldest park in Glasgow. And yeah, as you can see, trees are blocking every view of everything. But we're coming up here to do a turnaround. You can see some things here. We have the Dalton Fountain, built in 1887 by the Royal Dalton Company. And also the People's Palace. We make our way back out of the Glasgow Green. Dalton Fountain. So this is one of the stops here where people can hop on and hop off. That's why we stopped for a sec. And now we're off again. We get a lovely view of the trees that are blocking everything in Glasgow Green, so we really can't see anything. So you can see it's a fairly big park. It's now several parks joined together, but coming up on the left is the Nelson Monument, built in 1806. So here we are travelling along the bank of the River Clyde under the rail bridge, heading up to the corner. I think it's Salt Market Street, which is the one that had the toll spire on it. Here we have the Clutha Pub, which has an interesting history. In 2013, a police helicopter crashed into the roof and killed 10 people, causing it to close for a while. As you can see, still some of the roof's a bit damaged, but it's now opened again. It's been there since 1819. Again, it was part of a 4-storey building, and top 3 stories were demolished, leaving the pub. Glasgow Trades Hall, which is apparently the second oldest building in Glasgow after the cathedral. So you would think this building with the statue on top is old and important, but it's actually just a new development from 1988, but styled to fit in with the surrounding older buildings. Here we have the Gallery of Modern Art, and as you can see, there's an equestrian statue of the Duke of Wellington with a traffic cone on his head, which has apparently been there for years, and whenever the police took it down, people replaced it, so eventually they just left it there. And over the years it's been swapped out for different types of hats depending on what's going on in the town at the time. I did not know that until I was there. Coming up on the right is a white building, which is the Anchor Line building, which was one of the most successful shipping companies in Glasgow until they went belly up. About 120 years later, it's now a restaurant. Here we have the Radisson Blu Hotel in central Glasgow, which according to the bus person is one of the most expensive hotels in the city. Certainly looks it, and apparently it's just had a massive upgrade, and yeah, way out of anyone's price range. So coming up is the Finnieston Crane, which is a historic landmark in Glasgow. It's a cantilever crane that was built in 1932 to load and unload steam locomotives on and off of ships, as Glasgow was one of the major ports in the UK. It's no longer functional. It was decommissioned in 1980s, and it was renovated in 2008 to its current condition, new paint job and lighting. Coming up on the right is the OVO Hydro Entertainment Centre, which is the premier entertainment venue in Glasgow. It featured in the Eurovision film on Netflix. The OVO was opened in 2013 with a concert by Rod Stewart. And then coming up on the left is the SEC Armadillo Auditorium, which, as you can see, has a striking resemblance to the Sydney Opera House, but we were assured that it was not the inspiration, which of course is a cop-out. So as we leave the Clyde side area, we take one last look at the Ovo Hydro and also the crane, and you can see just how big it is for over a 5 stories tall and capable of lifting a steam locomotive. Coming up on the left is the University of Glasgow Cloisters, which many people have said is in the Harry Potter films, but it actually isn't, according to our tour guide. It just looks like it. The university was founded in 1451 by Pope Nicholas V and has been in use ever since and is still active today. It is ranked 82nd in the world for universities, which, considering how many of them there are, that is pretty good. So here we are entering the suburb of Kelvingrove, which is home to the Kelvingrove Art Gallery and Museum, and also the Kelvingrove Hall, which is coming up on the right. So here is the Kelvin Hall, which is one of the largest exhibition centres in the UK and used as a mixed-use area for sports and exhibitions, and was opened in 1927. And finally, on the left, we have the Kelvingrove Art Museum and Gallery, and just look at that. That's like typical of the architecture in Glasgow. Absolutely huge, old and phenomenal. Like, most of these buildings are hundreds of years old, and just look how intense they are. Like the amount of work that goes into building these things was, it's hard to fathom. So now we're just going to wind back through the outskirts of Glasgow, just seeing all the residential area, heading back into the centre of town. Here is the Royal Crescent building, which was some of the most expensive real estate in Glasgow in the early 1800s, with servants' quarters on the lower floors and basement, and the aristocratic class and rich people of Glasgow living in the upper two floors. Here we have the Beresford Hotel, which was built in 1938 and was the first skyscraper in Glasgow at 7 stories tall. It was the tallest building in the city at that time. It's now been turned into luxury apartments for students of the University of Strathclyde. Interesting fact about the buildings in Glasgow is, as with any city that's 500, 600, 700 years old, a lot of the old architecture was not keeping up with modern times, and at some point in the last century, I think the city decided to demolish a lot of the old buildings and replace them with more modern architecture and styling. So as you can see, there's quite a mix of new looking and old looking buildings throughout the whole city. Here we have the Glasgow Film Theatre, which was the second purpose-built theatre in the UK. Built in 1939, and it was the only other theatre in the whole of the country, other than the Curzon Mayfair in London. Here we have the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, which is their major music and performing arts school, university. Has been in use since the 1849, and has such notable alumni as actors David Tennant, James McAvoy and Robert Carlyle. On the right is the Pavilion Theatre, which is one of the oldest theatres in Glasgow. Opened on February 29th, 1904 as a music hall and is still in use today. It's used almost exclusively for stage arts such as pantomimes and music. So now we're in the Scottish Vehicular Museum, I think it is, down on the River Clyde. And I just saw Brucey Field's World of Warships catalogue. Look at that. A whole wall of model ships. This was the Pizza Resistance. Which battleship is it? HMS Hull. About 1937. It's pretty big. They have a few vehicles here. Another battleship, fire engines, street cars. All sorts of stuff, even hanging from the roof. What's that, Capri? What's that one? This goes on and on. This is what Mary King's Close in Edinburgh should have been like. An authentic 1700s street. Cabinet makers, boot maker, pawnbroker, saddlers, I don't think it was 1700s. They've got cars here. Oh, he's been in the motorbike. And now we're going into the Kelvin Grove Art Gallery and Museum for a whirlwind tour. As it's nearly 3 in the afternoon, the last bus is going to be in about an hour. So we have to be in an hour. It's a fairly big place too. afternoon Glasgow again at the Kelvin Grove Art Gallery and Museum.